Welcome to our Sunday morning meditation service. This is a very special day, and some of you may know that last week we celebrated the inauguration of the head Dharma master of Won Buddhism in the Americas, Venerable Juksanim. So we had a big celebration for him, and also we celebrated the appointment of the first Supreme Council in America, and 3 of our ministers are part of that council. So Reverend Yu, Reverend Jay, and Reverend So, Yeri So. So today we're going to celebrate as a community. So we're going to have a small celebration for that today, as well as practicing together meditation in various forms. And we will also listen to a Dharma talk given by Reverend Jieun, or as in Korea we say, Jieun Kyomunim. So if that's a word you might want to learn, it's a lovely word that means minister, Kyomunim. So let us first begin our practice today with bowing. Our bowing practice. So if everyone could please rise. And you may do standing bows or full bows. So we bow in Won Buddhism. This is called Il Sang. It is our one circle, it means one circle image. And we take this as a representation of the truth, of our true nature, our original home. So we bow to the graces of Il Sang. So I bow in gratitude to the grace of heaven and earth, honoring the infinite beneficence of nature and the universe. I bow in gratitude to the grace of parents, honoring the beneficence from parents, ancestors, and all those who have had a nurturing role in my life. I bow in gratitude to the grace of fellow beings, recognizing the truth of interconnectedness. And I bow in gratitude to the grace of laws, both natural law and secular law, that guide us, protect us, and promote justice. Now let us take a moment to turn to each other and bow to the Buddha beside us. And you may take a seat. So take a moment to find a comfortable position to get ready for seated meditation practice. So our sitting meditation today will be read and guided by Wan Hyun-jin.
The method of sitting meditation is simple and easy. Sit comfortably on the floor or in a chair. Breathe in, grab all your attention, and breathe it out. Open up your chest and heart. Stretch up tall and align your spine from your neck to your tailbone. Relax your shoulders and arms, then allow your hands to rest on your knees. Bring your attention to your breath. As you exhale, release all mental and physical tension. Invite your attention to abide in your chi energy field, which is called Danjan. This is located about 2 inches below your navel and is the power center for your breathing. Open your eyes and gaze downward over the end of your nose and to the floor. Keep your mouth closed and allow the tip of your tongue to rest gently against the roof of your mouth. When your mind is concentrated and calm, pure and clear saliva may gather in the mouth. You may swallow it. Relax your facial muscles and notice your gentle smile. If your face or body begins to itch, do not scratch. This is just a sign of the energy circulating in your body. Simply note the itching and let it pass. If your legs ache unbearably, you may change position very slowly and quietly so that you maintain a calm stillness and do not interrupt others. When thoughts arise in your mind, do not be discouraged or disturbed by them. Simply focus on your breathing without reacting to or playing with those thoughts. Recognize them as thoughts. They will disappear by themselves. And remember, keep bringing your awareness back to your Tanjong breathing center. If you continue practicing meditation for a long period of time, you will rest in the realm of samadhi, deep meditation in which the mind is calm, concentrated, perfectly focused, and at peace, with no distinction between self and others, time and place. We are grateful to sit quietly together, finding the still point within. May we be here now, aware of our ever calm and alert spirit.
If you could please open your booklets to pages 4 and 5 to chant the Ilwan song Vow and the Heart Sutra by Wan Shin Gun will lead us.
One song vow. Ilwan is the realm of samadhi beyond words and speech, the gateway of birth and death, transcending being and non-being, the origin of heaven and earth, parents, fellow beings and laws, the true nature of all Buddhas, enlightened masters, unenlightened people, and sentient beings. Ilwan manifests as both permanence and impermanence, viewed as permanence. Ilwan unfolds to an infinite world is ever abiding, instantaneous, just as it is viewed as impermanence. Ilwan unfolds into infinite worlds through the cycle of formation, duration, decay, and extinction of the universe. The birth, aging, illness, and death of all beings, according to how we use our minds, bodies. In the 4 forms of birth, we transform through the 6 realms of existence, progressing or regressing, with grace arising from harm or harm from grace. Therefore we unawakened beings vow to practice wholeheartedly, modeling ourselves after Ilwan song, the Dharmakaya Buddha, by cultivating our minds and bodies, deeply knowing human affairs and universal principles thoroughly, using our minds and bodies skillfully, thus progressing rather than regressing, receiving grace rather than harm, until we attain the great empowerment of Ilwan and become one with the nature of Ilwan. Heart Sutra. The Bodhisattva of great compassion, when deeply practicing Prajnaparamita, realized that all 5 aggregates are empty, thus became free from all suffering and distress. Shariputra, form does not differ from emptiness. Emptiness does not differ from form. Form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. The same is true of sensations, perceptions, impulses, and consciousness. So Shariputra, dharmas are empty, they do not appear or disappear, are not tainted or pure, not increase or decrease. Emptiness, no form, no sensations, no perceptions, no impulses, consciousness, no eyes, no ears, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no object of mind realm of eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, or mind consciousness. Ignorance nor extinction of ignorance, no old age and death nor extinction of them, no suffering, no cause of suffering, no cessation of suffering, no path wisdom, no attainment, with nothing to attain. The Bodhisattva relies on Prajnaparamita, therefore the mind has no hindrance. Without any hindrance, no fears exist, free from delusion. Dwells in nirvana, all Buddhas of the past, present, and future rely on Prajnaparamita and attain supreme enlightenment. For know that Prajnaparamita is the great mantra, the great enlightening mantra, is the unsurpassed and unequaled mantra, which is able to eliminate all suffering. This is true, not false, so proclaim the Prajnaparamita mantra, which says, gone beyond, far beyond, now awaken. Gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisvaha. Gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisvaha. Gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisvaha.
Now let's take a moment to just raise our arms and stretch. Stretch up high. Reach for the sky. Stretch. And release. Breathe out. Let's stretch the back one way and the other way. And take a moment to roll the neck in one direction. And the other direction. Now you can make yourselves comfortable. We have a Dharma talk, and the title is The Grace of Heaven and Earth and the Path to Modeling Its Way. So please let's bring our palms together and welcome Jieun Kyomunim.
Good morning. It's so nice to see you all today. As the crisp air of late November wraps around us, we find ourselves on the doorstep of Thanksgiving, a time of year that invites us to pause, reflect, and give thanks for the many blessings that enrich our lives. Meister Eckhart, the German theologian, famously said, "If the only prayer you ever say in your entire life is thank you, it will be enough." But let's be honest, it's not always easy to feel gratitude when life's challenges weigh us down. So how do we cultivate a spirit of gratitude even during tough times? Mr. Sotaesan, the founding teacher of Won Buddhism, offers us profound guidance through the fourfold grace. The grace of heaven and earth, the grace of parents, the grace of fellow beings, and the grace of lords. These four graces remind us of the intricate web of interdependence that sustain our lives. They encourage us to recognize the unseen gifts we receive daily and to respond with a heart of appreciation. Even our challenges, when viewed through the lens of these gifts, can transform into opportunities for growth and gratitude. So today I'd like us to focus on the grace of heaven and earth. So what is the grace of heaven and earth? Heaven and earth. In Asian philosophy, particularly in Confucianism and Taoism, heaven and earth symbolize the natural world and the dynamic forces that sustain life. This is not a dualistic concept of heaven and earth, but rather an interconnected, boundless, and ever-present energy that supports all beings. The grace of heaven and earth is present in every sunrise that warms us, every raindrop that nourishes the soil, every breath we take, the air, and the ground that supports our every step. Mr. Sote-san says in the Principle Book of One Buddhism, if we wish most easily to understand the grace we receive from heaven and earth, we must first reflect on whether we could sustain our lives without them. Even the least knowledgeable among us would quickly recognize that we could not live without heaven and earth. If there is a relationship where we cannot live without the other, then where would there be a grace greater than that? Does it make sense? This grace operates through what Sote-san calls the way, a spontaneously balanced and self-sustaining mechanism of the universe. The way manifests through 8 distinct qualities, each revealing the profound wisdom and harmony that underlies existence. So let's explore these 8 qualities briefly. The way of heaven and earth is exceedingly radiant. This means it's all-knowing and interconnected. Think about how the body instantly senses a tiny thorn pricking your toe. In the same way, the vast system of heaven and earth is keenly aware of the effect of our thoughts, words, and actions. Second, the way is also exceedingly meticulous and steadfast. It operates with absolute precision and unwavering consistency. The sun doesn't skip a day. And the seasons never fail to turn when it's their time. Heaven and earth keep life going without a single pause. It is exceedingly just. Heaven and earth gives its gifts equally to all beings, showing no favoritism. Sir Isaac Newton once said that gravity is like God's love, treating each being equally. Isn't that a beautiful thought? The way of heaven and earth is proper and natural, always following an harmonious flow. So spring transitions into summer, summer into fall, and so on. When the time is right, fruits ripen effortlessly. Nature performs all these operations seamlessly and with perfect order. It knows exactly how to bring everything to fruition in its proper season. Nature doesn't act on a whim. The way of heaven and earth is vast and immeasurable. It offers endless space and limitless possibilities. If you look up at the night sky and take in the infinity of space, you will catch a glimpse of the boundless grace that sustains us all. The way of heaven and earth is eternal and imperishable. It has no beginning and no end. While everything around us changes, the essence of heaven and earth remains constant. It reminds us of the eternal cycle of life, where endings are just new beginnings. It is without either good or ill fortune. Nature does not label events as fortunate or unfortunate. What we perceive as challenges or blessings are simply part of its spontaneous flow. Think of something as disruptive as a natural disaster. It isn't inherently good or bad from the nature's perspective. It simply exists as part of the way. This teaches us an important lesson. Nothing in our lives is inherently good or bad on its own. It is our interpretation, how we choose to perceive and respond to it, that gives it meaning. And finally, the way is free of thought in its applications. Nature gives without expecting anything in return. Its gift, like sunlight, rain, and air, are offered selflessly to everyone and everywhere. These 8 qualities not only reveal the deep wisdom of the universe, but also show us how we can live in harmony with the way of heaven and earth. So feeling grateful for heaven and earth naturally leads us to ask, then how can we honor such grace? If it's your friend, if you feel grateful of your friend, then you may write a thank you letter or buy some nice gift for him or her. But if it's heaven and earth, what can we do to express our gratitude? Sotaesan teaches that the best way to honor the grace of heaven and earth is to model ourselves on its way. Gratitude isn't just a feeling, it's a practice. So to truly honor and be empowered by its grace, we must live in alignment with its principle. So let's reflect on how we can model ourselves on these 8 qualities of the way. If you remember, the first quality is radiance. To model on the radiant way of heaven and earth, we must strive for a deeper understanding. Just as heaven and earth are all-knowing, we too should seek to understand the nature of human affairs and universal principles that govern life. You are doing it now. And this includes recognizing how everything unfolds according to the law of cause and effect. The second quality is meticulousness and steadfastness. To embody this, we need to approach our goals with consistency and commitment. Just as the natural world follows its steady rhythms, like the sunrise or the turning of the seasons, we too can honor this quality by staying reliable and persistent in our efforts. The third quality is justice. To live in alignment with the just way of heaven and earth, we must strive to remain impartial, avoiding the influence of personal closeness or distance in our relationships. Justice also requires equanimity and clarity of mind, ensuring that emotions don't cloud our judgment. When we approach situations with fairness and integrity, we truly embody the justice of the way of heaven and earth. Next is the quality of being proper and natural. To align with this, we must reflect on our actions and discern between what is reasonable and unreasonable. For example, when we are stressed, we might turn to shopping or drinking, hoping to find relief. But is that a reasonable choice? Does it truly solve the problem? So often, even when we know our actions may not be reasonable, we proceed without pausing to reflect. By taking a moment to consider the consequence, we can make choices that align with what is proper and natural, avoiding outcomes that lead to dissatisfaction and disharmony. The fifth quality is vastness. To embody the vastness of the universe, we must let go of our narrow attachment to specific objects, specific people, and specific perspective, and instead cultivate a broader outlook. From a young age, we are often taught to think in terms of boundaries. My property starts here and yours begin over there. But the universe doesn't draw lines or cling to fences. It offers boundless possibilities in its infinite space. By embracing this perspective of openness, we can transcend our limited attachment and unlock infinite potential that resides within us. The sixth quality is eternity. To model ourselves on the eternal way, we must find liberation from the ever-changing nature of life, including birth, aging, sickness, and death. Just as heaven and earth are eternal, so is our spirit and our true nature. While we should honor and care for this physical body, we must also recognize that we are not merely our bodies or positions or any achievements. When we see ourselves as infinite beings connected to the eternal flow of life, we can transcend fear and attachment to the transient, finding true peace and freedom. So you may wonder, how do we know our spirit is eternal? Is anyone who has experienced a near-death experience or something like that? We never know, right? But for me, when I first encountered this teaching, it simply resonated. It felt natural, as though I had always known it to be true. But for those of you who may not feel this way, consider this. Are you a human being having an occasional spiritual experience? Or are you a spiritual being having a temporary human experience? Which perspective gives you a greater sense of peace in connection to heaven and earth? I think it's your choice to which perspective to choose. The seventh quality is being free from good or ill fortune. To live in alignment with this, we must look beyond the labels of good or bad. Sometimes, what seems unfortunate turns out to be a blessing in disguise. And what seems fortunate brings unexpected challenges. By not getting caught up in these labels, we can remain calm and centered in any event in our lives. And finally, we come to the eighth quality, and being free of thought in its applications. To model ourselves on this, we must act selflessly without pride or the need for recognition. I'll share an example. A few weeks ago, I installed a bar on the wall in our kitchen next to the sink to hang dishwashing gloves because they're always missing. If there's a right side, the left side is missing. If there's a left side, right side is missing. So I searched it online and purchased a bar and installed it on the wall, and it worked perfect. I was so proud of myself. So it was perfectly worked. So I couldn't stop asking people, like a few people, do you know who did this? I did, But imagine how much more meaningful it would have been to simply let the action speak for itself. So without the need to say, I did it. Alexander Fleming, after discovering penicillin, he chose not to patent it. He believed it should be freely available for the benefit of humanity. Much like the sun provides light to everyone without charge. He actually said this. The sun doesn't charge us. This selflessness allowed penicillin to save countless lives worldwide. This is the heart of the Sotaesan's teaching on the grace of heaven and earth. So gratitude, again, is not just a feeling. It is a practice. It's a way of life. It's how we align ourselves with the vast, harmonious rhythm of the universe. So let's conclude with a moment of reflection to deepen our connection to the grace of heaven and earth. So settle yourself into a comfortable position. And allow your mind and body to relax. Allow a gentle smile to rest on your lips, inviting rest and ease into this moment. And bring your awareness to your breathing. Feel the air entering and leaving your lungs. With each inhale, take in the vitality of the universe. With each inhale, with each exhale, release tension and stress. Now bring your awareness to the earth beneath you. Feel its steady support. Reflect on how it nurtures all beings equally. Expand your awareness to the greater web of life. Contemplate your connection to the earth, the solar system, and the infinite universe beyond. Reflect on the vast web of life, how you are connected to the earth. And the universe beyond. And finally, take a moment to reflect on the quality of the way of heaven and earth that resonates deeply with your heart. Silently affirm your intention to embody this quality in your life. For example, may I remain steadfast like the turning of the seasons. May I embrace the radiance through deep inquiry and understanding. May I act selflessly, offering my actions for the benefit of all without seeking recognition or personal gain. You can open your eyes. As you move into this season of Thanksgiving, may we carry the grace of heaven and earth in our hearts, and may we live in harmony with its way, offering light and peace to all beings. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Reverend Jieun Kyumanim, for that beautiful talk and your wisdom. You always give a Dharma talk with such clarity. Thank you so much. So now let us open our booklets to page six, and Wambup Sun. We will read the essential dharmas of daily practice.
Essential dharmas of daily practice. 1. The mind is originally free from disturbance, but disturbances arise in response to sensory conditions. Let us restore the equanimity of our true nature by letting go of disturbances. 2. The mind is originally free from delusion, but delusions arise in response to sensory conditions. Let us restore the wisdom of our true nature by letting go of delusions. 3. The mind is originally free from wrongdoing, but wrongdoings arise in response to sensory conditions. Let us restore the precepts of our true nature by letting go of wrongdoings. 4. Let us replace disbelief, greed, laziness, and ignorance with belief, zeal, questioning, and dedication. 5. Let us turn resentment into gratitude. 6. Let us turn dependency into self-reliance. 7. Let us turn reluctance to learn into willingness to learn well. 8. Let us turn reluctance to teach into willingness to teach well. 9. Let us turn lack of public spirit into eagerness to serve the good of all.
So now, as I mentioned before, we have a special activity that we will be gifting our Venerable Juksanim and our Supreme Council members, the community. So I just wanted to say that I think that we want to know, right, who our teachers are and why we follow them, what makes us dedicated to this practice. And it's a really important question as we come here every week, most of us. And I think that when we see our teachers on all the Kyomonims here, the ministers here, we see that they model the way of heaven and earth, that their practice is timeless and placeless, that they live with a sense of selflessness, that their hands and arms are always open, that they are, and for me, very, very special that I'm here quite a bit, so if you come and you hang out a lot, you get to see that in every practical matter, which for me is the most important, how do you live? Just how do you live with selflessness and equanimity for all people without discrimination, without judgment? And so this is, let me tell you a little quick story, even though we're pressing on time. But this is a really important, sweet story. And we have, for the inauguration for Venerable Juksanim, we had this wonderful, busy time, and everybody is pitching in together and working so hard to make this happen. And we had a person who is a family Dharma member. Her name is Susan. And she was making flowers, and she was doing arrangements, and she was sewing, and she was doing many, many, many things. However, she was trying to sew the cloth on the steps that would take up to the stage. She just couldn't get it right. She's just doing it. And Venerable Juksanim saw her doing that and struggling with it, and he just said, "I'll do that." And he came over and he sewed it really quickly. 2 seconds. So in every moment of every minute, when we pay back the grace of heaven and earth, like Reverend Jieun Kyomonim mentioned to us, just that moment, and then that space of gratitude and how we are. And you should have seen those stairs, by the way. They were, I wish I sew, but I can't sew like that. So, so I want to invite, Sai, will you come up? Take that gift. So I want to invite Venerable Juksanim first to come up with all our hearts and all our gratitude to please stand. That we are so blessed to have him in our presence, to be able to be with him as often as we are. And many people don't get this gift, but he has changed us all in many, many ways. So that first one, the one where you wrote. So from all of us, always grateful for being here, always staying with you. The reason I am here in this country is to practice with you.
To practice with you. To practice, I mean, to be with you. That's the only reason that I am here. I am so happy. I'm so grateful. Sometimes when I work on our farm, when I clean here and there, when I eat with our family in the dining hall, and when I am be here with you to practice on Sundays, all remembers as all the grateful. Attitude. I'm not special, but I'm just, a fellow practitioner, just like, everybody else to everybody.
어떻게 삶을 살아가야 할지 모르고 그냥 어렸을 때 살았다.
It's getting longer. When I was child, I didn't know how to live, what to do.
소탈한 대종사님께서 가르쳐준 교법을 만나서 아 삶은 이렇게 살아가야 한다 깨닫게 돼요.
I realized how to live well when I met Master Sotaesan's teaching. Many people just live day by day, month by month, without knowing how this universe works.
삶이 어떻게 이루어진다
They may not understand how this life operates itself.
우리가 적극 접근해서 공부를 해보면
But if you, come closer and, practice and
우리가 살아가는 원리를
we come to understand the principle of how this universe works. If you really truly understand the principle itself, then we become grateful. Thank you.
참 하나하나 너무나 고마워.
So each and every aspect of life element is what we can feel grateful for. So it doesn't matter what we do, what job we have, what kind of work we do. Even though I just clean somewhere, just the corner of the world, I can feel grateful and I can be happy. Doesn't matter whether the friend next to me recognize what my work might contribute. I can fulfill with my own contentment, happiness. So while I'm doing all this, practicing gratitude, and I encounter you, this community. Again, I'm so grateful. And grateful. And I'm so happy and I'm so joyous. I'm joyful. Let's keep up with our good practice. Let's continue practicing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Venerable Jigsanim. And now we have our 3 Supreme Council members, and that is Reverend Yu and Yuri, so, and also Jay. So Yu Kyomunim, Jay Kyomunim. So Kyomunim. Jay is not here. So P. I'm going to just do. Oh, you got it. Okay.
You have heard the one Buddhism is the modernized, renovated Buddha Dharma. For example, in what aspect, when you read our scripture, you can discover that. One of the aspect, a part of the Dharma, how the system is working. After the inauguration ceremony, Kathy gave us a very good comment how to improve our understanding. For example, you may not have heard what is a Supreme Council, but it's a translated word from the Sweden. One Buddhism, one of the characteristics of the one Buddhism is the equality of a male and female, but ministerial layperson. At the same time, the ordained and the layperson. Ordained. For example, the Supreme Council is a top decision-making body. or all the important decisions of what the direction of the Won Buddhism, how headquarters of Won Buddhism will be established in Europe, in China, etc. All the major decision is made by the Supreme Council. So Won Buddhism of USA was established 7 years ago, which means we have our own constitution, which again means major decisions that are happening in the USA, Won Buddhism will be decided in here. We do not need some permission from the Korean headquarters. So lay members and ministers for example, here, cast a vote and elect the Supreme Council member, which is composed of the elected or senior minister and the lay representatives. They all together decide the direction of Won Buddhism. So their first job, it's a 6-year term, their first job is to elect the head Dharma master. So 1 month ago, you may heard in Korea, new Supreme Council was formed, and then new head Dharma master was elected. Lay person can become the candidate of the head Dharma master of Won Buddhism. But lay Catholic people cannot become the Pope or the priest can become Buddha. That's one of the characteristic of Won Buddhism. So that's one of the explanation of the what Supreme Council means. Thank you.
Thank you. So now I'm going to share some announcements with everyone. So next week we have spiritual Thanksgiving. So in Won Buddhism, this kind of Thanksgiving is a little bit different, where we are honoring and showing reverence for our ancestors. So on this day, next Sunday, you can bring a photo with you, and then all the photos, it's really beautiful. All the photos go up on the altar, and we spend a time in gratitude for our ancestors. So we have that, and there will also be a special addition to that ceremony. So we're going to have community lunch, but you can bring a dish to share if you would like to add to the potluck, which is always lovely. And then we're also doing something called Renew, Reuse, and Recycle. So showing grace for heaven and earth through a clothing swap exchange, and also if you have anything that's like gently worn clothing, gently worn tools or something like that you think someone else could benefit from, and you can also pass on. And so have this community, this lovely community gathering of gratitude for all. So that's next week. And then we have in January 11th, we have this is called the National Sangha Gathering, and it's an online gathering of all Won Buddhist practitioners across the entire country. And you can register right by the little QR code with your phone, or you can go online and you can find out more information. It's 2 to 3:40 Eastern Standard Time. So you can sign up for that. And then if you are in the Kyohadan, we are Dharma name holders, we have a meeting right here, right after service. So please stay if you are a Dharma name holder and you're in the Kyohadan. And there's one more thing. In the dining hall, there's Maureen, for this special day, made I hear it's huge, sheet cake. She made this beautiful sheet cake, carrot cake, don't miss it. And then Clark also made from scratch, right? Cookies from scratch today. So they're all in the dining hall. So please celebrate a little bit with us and go into the dining hall and enjoy some cake and cookies on your way home. And so what we'll do today is let us end with prayer. So closing our eyes and bringing our palms together, we are dedicating the merit of our practice today. So let us hold in our hearts and minds those that are suffering throughout the world, taking a moment to pay special attention to the escalating conflict between Ukraine and Russia. So when we join together, as Jieun said, when we join together, we reach out and we reach to the way of heaven and earth, to the internet-connected, boundless, ever-present energy that connects us all. And with our prayer, we affect every raindrop, every molecule, every breath of air, and ease the suffering of the world. May this prayer that we say today and this energy we have cultivated with our practice reach each and every heart and mind that is suffering. And may we all together realize our true nature. Thank you. Thank you for your practice.